Welcome back to Celebrial, the place where the real stories hide behind the headlines. Are you ready for a new one? Because this next story is wild, messy, and almost unbelievable. Today, we're diving into a claim that's shaking the internet. And it comes straight from Jaguar Wright. She says the music industry isn't just shady, it's dark, and at the center of it all isn't just Jay-Z, but Beyoncé herself. According to Jaguar, Beyoncé wasn't just rising to the top, she was allegedly pulling strings behind the scenes, quietly removing anyone who threatened her spot. One of the biggest names she mentions, Cantrell. You remember her, the voice, the look, the massive hit 'em up style. She was set to dominate R&B until she suddenly vanished. For years, people blamed Jay-Z for getting her blackballed. But Jaguar says that's not the truth. She claims Beyoncé personally felt threatened by Blue and moved in silence to shut her career down before it could explode. And according to Jaguar, Blue wasn't the only one. She says multiple singers, producers, and writers were erased in the shadows, all while the world praised Beyoncé's rise to the top. Jaguar says Blue wasn't the only one. Plenty of artists were getting crushed quietly behind the curtain. Some lost their careers, some lost their minds, and some, according to her, lost even more.
People need to know why you left. People need to know. Your fans deserve to know the truth about what sidelined you.
And if what Jaguar's saying is true, this isn't just celebrity drama. It's the claim that Beyoncé didn't just protect her empire, she allegedly destroyed anyone who got too close. And if these stories keep spilling out, that flawless Queen Bey image might start to crack. Back in the early 2000s, R&B was on fire. Real voices, real talent, and Cantrell was right there shaping the wave. She didn't just join the movement, she helped build it. Her voice had that rare mix of raw edge and smooth soul, sharp enough to cut through the entire industry. Then came her monster debut single, Hit 'em Up Style, Oops. And it dominated everything. Radios, clubs, playlists, everybody was singing it. Bold, catchy, attitude-filled, it made Blue a star almost overnight.
You want to know why I said on the radio that I didn't think it would last, though?
What, me and him?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you're above 25.
Why, he needs somebody younger than that?
At the end of the day, yup.
Why did you say that?
Because I think at the end of the day, a younger, less savvy to the ways of the world broad.
Somebody a little bit more naive.
You said it, not me.
You're good at,
Do you know what I mean?
good at making me say things.
Then she dropped Breathe, a calmer, chilled record that hit just as hard. That one went global, proving she had the range and the reach. Fans were locked in, labels were watching. Blue had the whole package: vocals, looks, energy, momentum, and then silence. No albums, no tours, no appearances. Just gone. It was like somebody hit pause, or straight up shut her down. Blue didn't just slow down, she vanished. And for an artist with that much fire, none of it made sense. Fans were confused, labels went silent, and the whispers started building. Was this personal? Was someone powerful making sure Blue's rise ended early? Jaguar Wright says yes. And according to her, Cantrell wasn't forgotten. She was erased on purpose. This wasn't bad luck. This wasn't label issues. Jaguar claims it was a calculated takedown, fueled by personal grudges and quiet moves in the dark. The kind of behind-the-scenes power plays the industry never admits out loud. But here's what makes it even crazier. Blue didn't just stumble into fame, she earned every inch of it. She put in years of work, writing rooms, late-night sessions, vocal training, building her sound piece by piece.
I really want to talk to is Cantrell. Jay-Z worked very hard to erase you and me, just like he did L, just like he did his relationship with R. Kelly, just like he did his relationship with Aaliyah. She was definitely blackballed, but she was blackballed for a reason. You made a choice to work with someone, and you probably didn't realize how nefarious he was when you got involved with him. I didn't. Blue, it's time to talk. It's time for you to sing again.
By the time the world finally heard Hit 'em Up Style, Blue had already fought her way through an industry known for chewing artists up. Her debut album made noise, but her second one, Bittersweet, showed real evolution. The vocals were stronger, the confidence louder, the artistry sharper. And Breathe? That track launched her worldwide, introducing her to an entirely new audience far beyond R&B. Blue was rising. Blue was leveling up. Blue was becoming a problem for somebody. That HD remaster of Breathe still racks up views on Blue Cantrell's YouTube like it came out yesterday. Proof her sound was timeless. Bittersweet might have lived in the shadow of her debut, but Blue herself wasn't fading. Not even close. The numbers were solid, the vocals still hit hard, and fans were locked in waiting for the next chapter. But instead of a comeback, silence. No new singles, no features, no performances. Nothing. Blue Cantrell, once one of R&B's brightest rising stars, disappeared overnight. And the part that shook fans the most, there was no warning, no farewell, no meltdown, just gone.
I have a big crush on him, though. I'll tell you that much. Did you still have a crush on him? No. No. No, I didn't. No, I'm really selective about it.
What?
Really. I really like him, though. And I don't care who he's dating. I always had a crush on him, though.
If he came in right now and we were all not here.
What?
I'm just saying, you're in New York.
Yeah, okay. And what
And you ran into him and everything was right. Would you make that play?
I wouldn't turn it down. Let's just put it that way.
This wasn't some small-town singer with one hit. Blue had chart toppers, international success, and a voice that could stand next to anybody, including Beyoncé. In the early 2000s, industry insiders even whispered that Blue was one of the few real threats to Beyoncé's reign. And that wasn't fan fiction. That was real talk inside the business. So when Blue vanished, people weren't curious. They were confused. Blogs exploded. Message boards went wild. Everyone asked the same question. What happened to Blue Cantrell? Did she walk away? Did something happen? Or was someone powerful pushing her out? And the deeper fans dug, the stranger it got. No label fallout, no public breakdown, no major scandal. Just a sudden stop that never made sense. Every few years, her music resurfaces, goes viral on TikTok, or pulls somebody back into the mystery. And the same question comes up again. How does someone that talented disappear without a trace? Now, with Jaguar Wright stepping forward, the theory is shifting, and people are starting to believe Blue's disappearance wasn't random at all. It may have been intentional, a quiet erasure carried out by people powerful enough to make an artist disappear without leaving fingerprints. Because at the height of her rise, Blue Cantrell kept getting compared to one other name in R&B. One artist backed by a massive machine, a global brand, and an industry infrastructure unlike anything else at the time, Beyoncé. And according to insiders, especially Jaguar Wright, that comparison wasn't flattering. It was threatening. Blue wasn't some newcomer looking for a lucky break. She had the voice, the presence, the attitude, and the momentum to match Beyoncé step for step. Some fans still believe Blue was one of the only artists in that era who could truly stand beside Beyoncé, voice for voice, style for style. And that kind of comparison doesn't just ruffle feathers, it creates enemies. But Jaguar Wright says the tension went deeper than competition. She claims Beyoncé didn't just see Blue as a rival, she saw her as a threat that needed to be dealt with, quietly and permanently. And here's where it gets even more explosive. Jaguar says Blue wasn't just a threat to Beyoncé's spotlight. She was allegedly a threat to her relationship with Jay-Z. Back in the early 2000s, rumors about Blue being too close to Jay-Z were everywhere. Some said it was business. Some hinted it was personal. Others swore the chemistry was real. Nothing was ever confirmed, nothing was ever denied. But in the music industry, perception is power, and sometimes even a rumor is enough to destroy a career. And according to Jaguar Wright, that's exactly what happened to Blue Cantrell. Jaguar Wright and other insiders say Beyoncé didn't want Blue anywhere near her. Not in the press, not on radio, not on the charts, and definitely not around Jay-Z. And that's when things allegedly shifted overnight. Blue's opportunities dried up. Media mentions disappeared. Industry doors that had just opened suddenly slammed shut. It didn't look like Blue fell off. It looked like Blue was blocked. According to Jaguar, this wasn't bad luck. It was strategy. And the hand behind it was Beyoncé's. Why? Because a quiet feud was already brewing behind the scenes while Blue Cantrell's star was rising. And the timing made everything explosive. Back then, Beyoncé wasn't yet the global icon she is today. She was fresh out of Destiny's Child, stepping into her solo career and building her brand alongside a rising relationship with Jay-Z. Meanwhile, Blue was dropping back-to-back R&B hits and gaining real momentum. And the connection between Blue and Jay-Z? People noticed. They had a real bond, one strong enough to spark whispers, jealous stares, and industry tension. Blue never claimed anything happened, but she didn't downplay her feelings either. The chemistry rumors grew louder, and the press ate it up. Then came the moment that changed everything. During a candid interview with Wendy Williams, Blue finally said the quiet part out loud. "I still have a crush on him now. I don't care who he's dating. I always had a crush on him." That one sentence set the whole industry on fire. Because now the rumors weren't whispers, they were headlines. And according to Jaguar Wright, that confession was the spark that lit the fuse. And Blue Cantrell's career got caught in the explosion. Fans and insiders started reanalyzing everything, every lyric, every look, every move. And Blue didn't quiet down either. She began pointing out how some of Beyoncé's music had an uncanny resemblance to her own. The vibes, the visuals, the themes. Blue felt parts of her sound and style were showing up in Beyoncé's work, and she wasn't afraid to say it publicly. That mix, a not-so-secret crush on Jay-Z, creative overlap, and rising tension, created a real storm. And it wasn't just fans stirring the pot. Industry people felt it too. Whether the rumors were true or amplified by gossip, the buzz about a feud between Blue Cantrell and Beyoncé was loud enough to shake the whole R&B scene. This wasn't just two artists dropping hits. It turned into a quiet war over power, image, influence, and who controlled the spotlight. Blue didn't just fade away. According to insiders, she was pushed out. And if the stories are true, that push came from the very top. What made it even wilder? Blue did not back down. After admitting her feelings for Jay-Z and pointing out the suspicious timing of everything, she took aim directly at Beyoncé. In an interview with The Guardian, she flat out accused Beyoncé of copying her visuals. She claimed the Bonnie and Clyde video Beyoncé shot with Jay-Z looked strikingly similar to her own video Roundup, which dropped first. That wasn't shade. That was a direct hit. Imagine pouring yourself into something original, only to watch the biggest star in the world roll out a shiny, bigger budget version of your idea. That doesn't just sting, it can destroy a rising career. And if that wasn't enough, Beyoncé's song Signs added gasoline to the fire with the lyric, "I was in love with a Sagittarius." Fans connected dots fast. Jay-Z is a Sagittarius. And Blue Cantrell's zodiac sign? Sagittarius. Suddenly, the tension wasn't subtle anymore. It was personal, and it was public. "I've been hurt by a Pisces." Fans caught that line instantly. Jay-Z is a Sagittarius, and Blue Cantrell? A Pisces. Coincidence? Blue didn't think so. She fired back publicly with a warning aimed straight at Beyoncé. Maybe she's trying to do it to get pressed, but I want to make her understand. If she goes there with me, it's the wrong move. That wasn't just a spicy comment. It was a shot across the industry. Blue added, "I'm a master at singing," making it clear she wasn't scared of anybody, not even the future queen of pop. To Blue, this wasn't playful competition. This was a brewing war. And according to the whispers, Blue wasn't just being pushed aside. She was being shut down, silenced. But then came the twist that sent the whole internet into theories years later. In 2012, Beyoncé and Jay-Z welcomed their first child and named her Blue Ivy. For fans of Blue Cantrell, that name hit hard. Some called it coincidence. Others saw it as a message, almost like Beyoncé was planting a flag on the name Blue forever, taking ownership of it the way she took over the industry. To many, it felt personal, a quiet but powerful signal. Your name, your lane, your legacy, now mine. That's when fans started questioning everything. This didn't look like simple R&B drama anymore. It looked calculated. A rivalry blended with strategy, control, and erasure. And Blue Cantrell wasn't afraid to say it out loud. She claimed Beyoncé's rise wasn't as clean as the world believed. According to her, certain careers didn't fall naturally. They were pushed. And the sudden crash of her own career? Blue believed it was no accident. Then came 2004, the year the shift became impossible to ignore. After 2 successful albums, international hits, and a global fan base waiting for more, Blue's momentum just stopped, abruptly, unnaturally, and completely out of nowhere. And that's where the story takes an even darker turn. This didn't feel like a career slowdown, it felt like a setup. Blue's contract with Arista wasn't renewed, not because she lost talent or momentum, but because the label simply let it expire. No meeting, no explanation, no conversation, just silence. That's when reality hit her. Something wasn't right. Doors weren't just closing, they were being shut on purpose. And the worst part? Blue wasn't even making the money she deserved. In an eye-opening interview with You Know What Got Soul, she finally opened up about one of her biggest regrets, not learning the business before signing that first deal. What she revealed next explained everything. "I would have got my own lawyer," she said. Why? Because the lawyer she trusted ended up representing the label too. That's a direct conflict of interest. And according to Blue, it set up the whole downfall. "They were all working together to basically take what was mine," she said. And with that, the fog around her disappearance got darker. Imagine realizing the person hired to protect you was actually helping the other side. That's how Blue described it. Betrayal from the inside. "Nobody really knows the whole truth but me and them," she said. "But I was really taken advantage of." And on top of the legal trap, there were public tensions exploding everywhere. The rumors about Jay-Z, the whispers about Beyoncé, the quiet industry moves nobody could prove, but everyone felt. Financial pressure, shadowy politics, and personal gossip all piled up at once. Blue wasn't just being sidelined, she was becoming a target. Then in 2012, after nearly vanishing from the spotlight, Blue finally spoke again. She broke her silence and revealed why she disappeared. "I needed to take time off," she said. "Honestly, I spent a lot of time overseas. I was living in London." She wasn't hiding. She was healing. Blue talked about the toll the industry took on her, the pressure, the exhaustion, the sleepless nights, the mental exhaustion of fighting battles she didn't start. And for the first time, the world began to understand why one of R&B's brightest stars disappeared without warning. Being an artist is a 24/7 grind. No sleep, no food, no breaks. And sometimes the only way to survive is to escape. Blue's break wasn't a vacation, it was a forced retreat, the kind that happens when the industry locks the doors and leaves you outside. Blue didn't walk away, she was pushed out. When you line up the signs, the expired contract, the money she never touched, the lawyer who worked against her, the Jay-Z rumors, the silent treatment from the same industry that once praised her, it becomes obvious. This wasn't about music, it was about power, protection, control, guarding a throne. While Beyoncé rose fast, building an untouchable empire, Blue's story turned into a ghost file, the tale of an artist with everything. The voice, the hits, the star power, yet still crushed by the machine behind the crown. And even after all the betrayal, shady deals, gossip storms, and cold shoulders, Blue's story remains one of survival. A warning to every new artist who thinks talent alone can save them. In that 2012 interview, she revealed a spark of hope, a third album. She spoke about it boldly, promising it would take her right back to the top. Fans were ready. She was ready. But the album never came. No rollout, no leak, no trace. Just gone. Was it sabotage? A personal shift? Or something darker behind the scenes? Nobody knows. But for fans, it was another comeback stolen before it ever started. Then, in March 2020, right before the pandemic, Blue finally resurfaced with a rare live performance in London on Fat Man Scoop's Throwback Arena tour, sharing the stage with Nelly, Shaggy, Eve, Maya, Salt and Peppa, legends. And Blue? She lit the stage up. Same spark, same power, same voice that once shook the charts. A reminder that she never fell off. The industry just couldn't handle her rise. It was all still there. The voice, the presence, the spark. But even with Blue back under the lights, one question refused to die. What really happened to Blue Cantrell? Her fall wasn't a flop. It wasn't bad luck. It was a slow, silent takedown, the kind that happens quietly, behind closed doors, while the public gets distracted by louder drama. Everyone focused on the rumors, the Beyoncé tension, the Jay-Z whispers, the so-called triangle. But underneath all that noise, something much deeper had been eating away at Blue for years. To understand it, we have to rewind to 2003, when Blue was still shining off her breakout success, yet carrying a secret she'd never spoken about publicly. Before fame, at just 18, struggling to survive, she did a photo shoot out of desperation. No fame, no money, no team, just survival. But once she became famous, that decision turned into a ticking time bomb. Blue lived in constant fear those old photos would surface, not because she was ashamed, but because she knew how brutal the industry could be. In Hollywood, one leaked picture can destroy a woman's entire career. And the industry rarely gives grace. It gives scandal. That fear never left her. It followed her into every room, every interview, every studio session. And it may have played a much bigger role in her disappearance than anyone knew. When the pressure became too much, Blue reached out to someone she believed could protect her, someone powerful enough to help her control the narrative. Sean Diddy Combs, a man at the top of the industry, a man who understood fame's dark side. But instead of reassurance, Blue said he dismissed her fears completely. She opened up about the vulnerable photos that haunted her. And his alleged response, "I've seen them. You looked good." Cold, unbothered, objectifying. In that moment, Blue said she realized the truth. She wasn't being seen as an artist or a person. She was being seen as something to be controlled. And that's when the story took a darker turn. Because Diddy wasn't just a random name in her orbit. He was tied deeply into the machinery around her career. Rumors swirled for years that Blue and Diddy had more than just a business connection. Nothing was ever confirmed, but the closeness was enough to spark whispers. And those blurred lines left Blue exposed in ways she never expected. Fast forward to 2024, and Blue finally stopped holding back. She didn't blame the label, she didn't blame timing. She called it exactly what it was, exploitation, and she named names, Jay-Z and Diddy. According to Blue, these weren't just powerful men who happened to be around her career. They were the ones holding the doors shut, keeping her from rising high enough to threaten the ones already on the throne. Jay-Z, deeply tied to Beyoncé, who allegedly didn't want Blue anywhere near her spotlight. And Diddy, the man she once trusted, a behind-the-scenes giant who Blue says became an invisible wall, standing between her and every opportunity. Blue didn't sugarcoat anything. She said Jay-Z wasn't a mentor. He positioned her, used her, then left her in the cold when she wasn't useful anymore. And Diddy? She claims he profited the most while she was being manipulated, pushed aside, and forgotten. He walked away more powerful, while she disappeared from the charts that once loved her. Blue says she was trapped, pushed into situations without real choices, pressured from every angle, and then discarded like she never mattered. And the wildest part? She's not alone. Plenty of artists have felt that same machine chewing them up. But when Blue talks about the biggest force standing in her way, she points directly at Beyoncé, not as a friendly rival, not as someone who outshined her, but as someone Blue claims actively worked to shut her down. By 2004, Blue's momentum didn't just slow, it vanished. Blue's career didn't fade, it collapsed. Her label deal vanished. Her chart momentum disappeared. And those same industry doors that once flew open for her suddenly slammed shut. According to Blue, this wasn't music industry bad luck. This was personal. This was planned. Blue says Beyoncé didn't just rise naturally. She moved quietly and strategically, shutting down opportunities behind the scenes. Opportunities Blue had already earned. It all started with Arista Records. After 2 successful albums and global hits like Breathe and Bittersweet, Blue should have been gearing up for album number 3. Instead, her contract was just gone. Not canceled, not renegotiated, not updated, just forgotten. Or so they claimed. Blue says that moment still hurts the most. No contract meant no money, no promo, no team, no future. Everything she had fought for vanished overnight. And then came the betrayal that broke her. The lawyer she thought was protecting her, he was actually representing them. I would have gotten my own lawyer, Blue said later, because that lawyer ended up representing them. A full-blown conflict of interest. She believes the people around her weren't supporting her. They were working together to take what was hers. And where was Beyoncé in all this? Her signature wasn't on any paperwork, but Blue swears her influence was everywhere. The phone calls stopped, producers ghosted, collaborators disappeared. Opportunities vanished without explanation. No drama, no argument. Just a cold silence, the kind that feels planned. While Blue was being iced out, Beyoncé's star shot higher than ever. Hits, awards, movie deals, global domination, the whole rise to superstardom. One artist was quietly pushed out, another was building an empire. And if Blue is telling the truth, her downfall wasn't random. It was orchestrated, one careful move at a time. Because Beyoncé didn't rise alone, she rose beside some of the most powerful men in music. Jay-Z, Diddy, top executives, industry gatekeepers, radio kings, producers with influence on every chart. The same circle Blue used to be close to, until suddenly she wasn't. They all lined up behind her. The executives, the producers, the radio insiders, the label power players, forming a circle so tight nobody else could break through. And while that machine was growing stronger, Blue stayed classy in public, speaking softly, choosing her words carefully. But if you listened between the lines, her message was unmistakable. She believed Beyoncé blackballed her, quietly, strategically, permanently. And the timeline backs her up. Blue's second album begins cooling off out of nowhere. Arista suddenly forgets to renew her contract. Her opportunities evaporate. Meanwhile, Beyoncé is exploding into superstardom. Major deals, Grammy runs, global domination, iconic features, and a career that skyrocketed like it was pre-written. Blue didn't go out with drama. She disappeared in silence, and not the natural kind. The kind that feels planned. This wasn't bad luck. It looked like a coordinated shutdown. And that's what makes Blue's story hit so hard. Because according to her, Beyoncé never needed to compete. There was room in the industry for both. There was space for 2 powerhouse voices. But instead of supporting another Black woman, Blue says Beyoncé helped push her out. Quietly, efficiently, and permanently. And fans noticed the strange signs too. Especially when Beyoncé and Jay-Z named their daughter Blue Ivy. To casual listeners, it was cute. But to fans who remembered Blue Cantrell, the voice, the hits, the impact, that name felt personal. Comments started popping up everywhere. I know Jay is behind her downfall. There's no way Beyoncé naming her daughter Blue is a coincidence. To Blue, those weren't coincidences. They were signals, reminders of the power players deciding who gets to shine and who gets erased. No diss tracks, No public battles, just doors that shut one by one, and a star who vanished right as another one rose. Collaborators stopped answering. Opportunities dried up. And before the world even realized it, Blue Cantrell was being silenced. Then came 2014, the night everything spilled into the public. TMZ cameras caught her barefoot in Santa Monica, terrified, screaming that someone was trying to kill her and poisoning her with gas. Witnesses said she looked frantic, dodging something no one else could see. Police took her in for evaluation. The media mocked her. But Blue had been warning people for years about being pushed out, blackballed, used, and discarded. To some, her breakdown didn't sound crazy. It sounded like trauma finally breaking through. Jaguar Wright had been saying the same thing. In this industry, once you speak out, they don't just silence you, they discredit you. They label you unstable so no one believes what you're trying to expose. And when you look at the timeline, Blue isn't the only one who faded as Beyoncé rose. Maya, Monica, even Aaliyah, all facing sudden roadblocks or tragedy, while one chosen star was being lifted higher and higher. Maybe it's coincidence, or maybe the spotlight was being narrowed on purpose. So, what do you think? Bad timing, or a deeper game behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit like if you're rocking with this deep dive, share it with someone who remembers Blue, and subscribe so you never miss the stories the industry avoids. See you in the next one.